afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, February 18, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tomorrow night after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to lay out the actual impact that is occurring here in this country and eventually all over the planet. One of the challenges that we have in these bodies is that we find it difficult to let go because it's an unknown. We think that, well, I let go, what's going to happen? Or we think, well, if I let go, I'm giving up. And really, it's like you stop it from sticking. It doesn't matter what it is, really. Once you realize that, and this is the key to it, that what you are and who you are, so to speak, in that body, is an omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant being that never dies. The separation here, the illusion of separation from a certain perspective, is that we have these bodies. Obviously, we're in them, and we're experiencing physical material life. The difference between that and we're in these bodies, and we know that we are a God in the body, and we know that these bodies are temporary. We know that we're not in them forever. Now, see, with the ego mind, that puts a lot on us because it's always there. It's always pulling. It's always controlling and trying to move us in the direction it wants to go. And this is where we get these unsure feelings and uneasiness and stress, anxiety. And we all have those. It's just that they're varying degrees of it. And it's being able to embrace the fact that it's all temporary. That's why we live in the now. With the only thing that we know is the now. We don't know tomorrow, and we don't know yesterday. Yesterday's gone. Past is gone, future hasn't even arrived. And the interesting thing is that we're creating our future in the now, because it's what we think about. Doesn't matter what, the impact is of what we're thinking about every day. Every morning, every night, it's every single moment. It's what we're thinking about. That's what the engine of creation is. That wherever attention goes, energy flows. So we are thinking, whatever it is we're thinking about, we're creating it. It's almost instantaneous. It's like you're standing on a cliff. You look down, and it's way down there. You look across to the other side. And then you look in between, you see all this space. And you say, well, anything's possible. So it's almost like you create each step that you take on solid surface, even though there's no solid surface there. And you have the faith that that solid surface will appear each time you take a step. Now, if you have a doubt, there's no step. There's no solid surface. You fall to the bottom of the canyon. For us to manifest that, you could not have any doubt whatsoever. Not even a grain of sand of doubt. You did 100% faith and 100% confidence and trust in yourself and the universe. Remember, I've shared that wherever you focus your attention, you create. Things appear. Particles begin to move together. All right? That's how powerful we are. Now, what holds us back from doing that? The ego mind, it convinces us that, oh no, that's crazy. You can't do that. You'll end up having to leave the body. And so all that rushes in, a doubt, fear, stress, anxiety. And you end up saying, forget that. That's a crazy, stupid idea. And oftentimes we negate our own power because we doubt our power. We doubt it. We don't believe it. We're so immersed in physical material, of course, we get, the body gets cut, that pain and hurt, different things. And since it's so emotional, we get seduced into following the ego mind with the body. Not the spirit, not the God that we are, the pure consciousness. And because many of us have been taught that everything is outside of us. See, the God's outside of us, the heaven's outside of us, the hell's outside of us. It's all outside of us. It's separate from us. Now, that could keep a civilization chasing its tail for a very, very, very long time. So you begin to probe within yourself to see what the heck is this all about. More people will hear more and more, and I'm not talking about the old days or the old ages where you had somebody that talked about this or that in the spiritual context. But more and more people are going to start experiencing spiritual uplifting. It isn't going to come from outside of them. It's going to come from within. Some people will embrace it. Others will fight it because they won't understand it, and then they'll be upset about it, and then they'll get stressed. Others will just embrace it. This is a planetary-wide quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy of a complete ascension. For those of us, after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, we get to a point where we wake up, we become somewhat aware, and we begin to discover who and what we really are. You put on a pair of socks, you take them off before you go to bed, normally, right? On average. When you take a shower, you take your clothes off. This body is no different. When you realize who and what you are, and you embrace it, then you look at the body in a whole completely different perspective. And then you say, well, I'd like to stay around as long as I can, so I've got to become really knowledgeable about this body I am in. Doesn't it make sense that if you're going to navigate, move around in that body on this planet, it's your vessel. It's no different than, you're traveling along in your vehicle and, you got 30,000 miles on it, you've never changed oil. And then one day, all of a sudden, it just craps out on you. And you go, why? Why did that? Well, you didn't take care of it. And see, we because of the shiftiness and murkiness and veils on the planet, we were not aware of what was going on with everything around us in our bodies. More and more people are starting to wake up to the fact and say, this is my responsibility. This isn't anybody else's. Why would I give this responsibility to someone else? See? Why would I do that? Because what this does is it guides us through heart-mindedness to begin to realize that we can heal our bodies. We can heal them. Doesn't matter what's going on with them. Well, how can that happen? Because we are omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. The pure consciousness in these bodies, the God. Super powerful energy. Regenerating anything you choose to regenerate. And that's where we're heading as a civilization. If you choose to, because it's always up to you. Nobody else. So it's only if you choose to. And when you do choose, it's like saying, this is it. This is my lifelong commitment. This is what I want to do. Not, okay, I'll do it. What the heck? We'll see what happens. Not that. See, it's not. That's a forced situation. That's where you're enthusiastically embrace it. See, what we're doing is we're transcending as a species of civilization. And in order to transcend something, it helps to better comprehend it. And right now there's it's a massive amount of information. And some people feel overwhelmed or buried or flooded. And I don't necessarily mean in a negative way. But what causes that with us? Well, it originates from deeper beliefs that say we should or shouldn't be experiencing something. And we judge the experience that we are having. This feeling of heaviness, being overwhelmed, it can contain internalized time pressure for what? We do all this, remember, we do this with ourselves. We have a deadline, right? It's not what your supervisor or boss has set for you. It's what you have placed on yourself. And this means you choose to have too much to do in too little time. How many times have you heard that? Or how many times have you said that to yourself? You say you've got way too much to do and not enough time to do it. So we all do this. We all have this. We choose to have. We're all about over-promising to ourselves and under-delivering. You sit there and go, I wanted to do this, I didn't do that, and I barely got this done, and I've got to do this tomorrow. And now, when we continue buying into all the things our mind says we have to do, and how everything must be done as soon as possible, happiness can seem like an impossible dream. You ever feel like that, where it's kind of like a little bit of agitation, a little bit of hurry and pushy, and you're doing it to yourself. Oh, God, I got to get that done. I don't have time for this now. I got to do that. And this is what happens to many of us, is we are constantly chasing the illusions of our minds, and we will simply end up tired, frustrated, and overwhelmed, which right in this very now moment on this planet, there are many feeling this way. Because the mind has programmed us all to endlessly search, seek, and pillage to find happiness, fulfillment, and abundance in this outer world. And this constant search will never satisfy us and can only bring exhaustion. And it's a perfect experience. So you will retire the mind and discover the infinite spiritual source of your being. And the only way we find that true happiness and fulfillment that our mind desperately seeks to recognize that the God source is always here now. And when you connect with that peaceful stillness, that is who you truly are. You automatically feel a deep sense of fulfillment. This is when you will naturally relax and see this utility of striving so hard for outer contentment. See, it doesn't matter how much outside you have contentment, because if you don't have it within, you're never going to find it outside. Truly so. But we keep moving with that. We keep moving in that direction. You float. You get in a habit and you float. It doesn't mean that you have, thrown away your responsibilities or, gone off into a cave to live. You float through things. You don't grab them. You don't pull them in. And you just let them pass. Now, many of us will grab it and pull it in, whether it's ours or not. We'll give it energy, and we will create it into our reality, and then we'll experience it. But you get to the point where you just float, and you see all those clouds passing by in the sky. Normally, we would grab some, pull them in, create them in our reality, experience them. But you get to the point where you just float and you have no motivation whatsoever to grab any of them. You start to become content within. You're no longer fixated on material physical. You know that you can manifest anything you choose to manifest when you desire to do so. It's kind of like a reverse. It's the opposite of what we do now. What we focus on is the now. What we focus on are the gods and the pure consciousness that we are in the body. And pure peace, tranquility, happiness, joy, bliss, all the time. And we also move into the comprehension that, none of us have, there's no reason for any of us to claw, grip, pull, run, rush, hurry to some destination that we aren't sure is the one we want. But we do it anyway. But when you discover who and what you are, you'll realize that the opposite occurs and things will come to you. Obviously, you act on them, or or they'll just pass you by. But every one of us has the power to do that in this very now moment, period. Always has been there. And none of us are lost. Like so many people believe they're lost, they're not lost. As I have said before, you cannot screw up this life, period. No matter what you're doing, you are not screwing it up. It just so happens that you have certain avenues that you want to learn. And you manifest, and not necessarily are you completely aware that you're doing this. And you manifest these things in your life so you can experience them. Now, it is frustrating when you don't know you're doing this, and you ask yourself, what the heck is going on here? I would never in a million years ask for this to come into my life, but you did. And remember, this is all temporary. This isn't, this is not something, it's like you're in the playground and you have fun. All different ways. And then you leave. That's exactly what this is. We're in this big playground, as far as I can see. And we're all in the playground and we're all having fun. And fun comes in many different ways. So doesn't it make sense that you focus on things you want, not what you don't want? The things that you want, you're interested in being happy, content, blissful, joyful. You're not interested in how we have lived lifetimes where we've got stressfulness and thousands of thoughts slamming into us 24/7. We've got all this mind chatter, noise. You would believe or think that the majority of us would have figured that out and then moved into heart-mindedness, meditation, like we do with these meditations. We find it's not difficult for people to do this. You find a comfortable place with no outside distraction. You begin to relax into your body, or as still as a statue, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. This moves you out of this highly competitive ego mind existence. And the interesting thing is you're not the ego mind. You never were. It's what we inherit in these bodies. But we're not the ego mind. We're none of it. We're way beyond it. And we're having fun in these physical forms. Now, the interesting thing is that, if you sprinkle a little amnesia in there, how are you going to have fun if you don't know who and what you are? So it's almost like we enter these lives. We choose to. We're not forced to enter these lives. We choose to. So we enter these lives, and we experience them. But I get more and more people asking me, doesn't seem right that we don't know our past lives. Just doesn't seem right. Well, as we all know, there are reasons for everything. And the reason we created it this way is because we would not survive knowing all of our past lives, whatever planetary systems, throughout the thousands, millions, and billions of years of pure conscious existence. Emotionally, we would not do well at all through ego mind, knowing our past lives. This is why you take things one step at a time. The old saying, you never put the cart before the horse. So, patience, deep eternal love for oneself to discover who and what you are in this body. And once you do that, then you gravitate more towards heart-mindedness. And then you get to the point where you start seeing or feeling past life existences. Because that's, see, it is that where all of us, we don't have recollection. We really don't. So is that organic or is it created? In other words, is it our natural state of being or isn't it? Well, with our condition, and we do have this condition of amnesia, not knowing who and what we are. And we come into these physical bodies not knowing who and what we are. So, we have no idea how long we have in these bodies. Can you see the challenge there? This is why we reincarnate so much. So we start over. And we keep doing it until we have faith that one lifetime we will discover it, then embrace it, then ascend into a much higher vibrational being. And the only way we do that is through our own discoveries. What would happen, right? Let's just say for giggles that we come into these baby bodies and we know exactly who and what we are. What do you think would happen? Be interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, from birth, out of mother's womb, we enter that body, and we know exactly who and what we are. We are pure consciousness and God's within these bodies, and we're here to have a wonderful time and enjoy ourselves and have fun. It would be interesting to experience that, wouldn't it? None of us know what that would be like, because none of us have ever experienced it before. So, we just kind of skip along in our lives, and some of us stumble onto things that we don't ignore, and we start looking into them, and one leads to the other, to the other, to the other. And then we realize that all this stuff, all around us, is for entertainment purposes only. That's all it is. It's not some big cycle. Because see, we are already gods. We aren't becoming gods. We are gods. Pure consciousness. These bodies. We're plugged into all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Nothing's going to change that. Ever. We each view it differently. You know, that we're separate. Some people believe we're separate. Others know that we aren't. And then there's the fence sitters in between, not sure. But doesn't it make sense, okay, within your heart mind, that we're here to have fun? We're not here to suffer and pain and sorrow and anguish. We've had so many lifetimes, we know what that is. Okay, we've experienced it. We don't need to experience it lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. I don't believe any of us would say, oh, yes, we do. We need to experience that for thousands of years. Pain, suffering, disappointment. We've done it. We've experienced it. We know what it is. This allows us to really embrace truly why we're really here. To enjoy ourselves, love ourselves, and love everything else. Move into a state of nirvana. You have Kundalini, which is an inner energy coming up from the root chakra, and the energy flows through the spinal column, up and out, like a fountain. It comes up through the lower lumbar and all the way up through the spinal column, all the way up through the body, and it's like a fountain. And it comes up and it comes down over the body. It's a phenomenal energy. It's experiencing the God that you are energy. Then we go to another level, even more so, Samadhi. Samadhi is more intense than Kundalini. Then we go even higher to Nirvana. You've heard the word Nirvana, right? Nirvana is true eternal bliss. And what is that bliss? The God that you are, the pure consciousness. Now, I do not believe that throughout the ages there has been any being who has maintained nirvana for even 3-4 seconds. But all this comes from within us, not out there. It's already there. It's resident with who and what we are, the gods that we are. Does it make sense that that's why we choose to go within and discover all this? And that we create in fifth dimensional frequencies, what? A God-planet paradise. And we're witnessing this, and we have a lot to do with it. This is not something happening away from us. This is something happening within us, all over this planet. And it will continue. And many people are actually waking up. Not a little bit, a lot. Yes, there's still those who think and believe differently. They're still in the illusion of ego mind and everything out there. And so we create a God planet paradise, which is a playground which we have fun in that playground, with that playground. And do we experience and learn? Absolutely. There's different levels of fun, excitement, enjoyment, happiness, bliss, contentment, benevolence, tranquility. There's different levels of all of that. So doesn't that sound super inviting? So what do? Well, like we did with pain, suffering, disappointment, anger, all that stuff, we're now going to do it in a much higher vibrational frequency, where we really begin to enjoy ourselves. And things will just flow towards us, and we will see the flow. And being in the heart mind, we won't block it like we do in the ego mind. This planet will become a bliss planet, a tranquility planet. That does not mean, okay, and this is, I think that there's a lot of people that will misinterpret, well, then we're all weak, timid, vulnerable. Anybody could just come in and wipe us out. And there's people that think that way. Actually, it's the opposite. When we embrace our true power that resides in these bodies, there won't be any enemies. Zero. In fact, you won't be your own enemy. You will be your own lover. in a quiet time in this meditation? Sit just relaxed in your body, focused on your breath rising and falling, as still as you can be. Feel the bliss that's within you. Embrace it. Become it. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Even though you might not think so, here are the reasons why you are the perfect human. You are emotionally intelligent and have great communication skills. You're attentive to others, a fantastic listener. You're respectful, honest, and completely trustworthy. People say your compassion flows endlessly from the heart of your soul. You're a deeply passionate lover, and your generosity and selflessness go beyond the ability of most humans. You are super affectionate. You're filled with curiosity and can have the most playful energy. You are patient, kind, and understanding, as well as committed to growth and change. Since you have already embraced these qualities for many years, you could be the most illuminated lover on the spiritual path. We all bow down to you. You contain the qualities everyone has been searching for their entire lives. It's time to accept the facts are in. Deep inside you is the most beautiful embodiment of love that anyone has met. So thank you for being born as you make this world a much happier place. Now, I guess there's not much to do but fully enjoy this amazing being you truly are. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here Wednesday, February 19, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within or outside. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.